Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. Summer is here. There are things going on, and would you believe it? It is just the guys that have got the comic book sense. That's all I'm saying. This week we have no Tracy, who's out at a tattoo convention. Be mindful where that ink goes. And Freyja is out comic conning. I heard that last time she was spotted talking at 13th about Marvel.
Ooh.
So
we may have to verify with Bob O'Mac because he's at the same convention she is. So we may have a source to verify that.
Well, okay. Well, in that case, we'll have to. Frey might be joining the No Price podcast very shortly. She'll hate me for saying that.
Oh boy, I can imagine the shitstorm that we're going to get after this.
Yeah, well, there's no American carnage in Marvel, so she's fine. It's cool.
True.
Cool. Freyja and Tracy, we miss you both. I hope you're having a good weekend. Right, excellent. As you can tell, the audio guy is going to be happy because he has his favorite podcaster on the show. Josh, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. I hear congratulations are in order for a certain nomination.
Yes. Undercover Capes has been nominated with the Scaricon Podcast Awards, their first annual podcast awards, and the episode that was selected as a finalist is the Morgan's Organs special that we did for Flipside Focus. So, which, by the way, that book was fully funded in 6 days, which I'm super excited for.
You're a big fan of Morgan's Organs,
I really am. It's a fantastic book.
Cool. It's not a euphemism. Morgan does have some organs. It's not that one. All right, excellent. Okay, so that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's great for the network. Great show. For people who haven't checked out Flipside is basically where Josh and Al and Dodgy talk everything independent, and that covers the whole gauntlet of books, not just Dynamite, Dark Horse, IDW, and Boom. They take it all the way down to small press, which is actually where Comic Crusaders first started. And Comic Crusaders, our sister site, are absolutely pro-activists. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Mm-hmm. For independent comics as much as the big two. So if you like everything on the indie side, go and check the flip side. There you go.
I like it. That was a fancy tagline. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not game. I've been doing this a while. I'm not game.
This isn't your first rodeo by any means.
All right, so over here in DC World, since last we spoke, we have had a raft of books that have come out, some ending a show, some continuing the dull, long, progressive march towards finality. The start of another Black Label before the last Black Label hasn't been completed yet. And, of course, the usual run-of-the-mill superhero books. So Josh and I are going to take you through the big books of the last fortnight. Okay? We're going to start off with Heroes in Crisis, number 9. Oh, my God. Thank God this book is now done. Josh, did Heroes in Crisis live up to your, or down to your expectations?
The one expectation that I appreciate that they lived up to was releasing in a timely manner.
Good shout.
I mean, we'll be bitching about, another book and their release schedule later, but I don't know. It kind of left me a little underwhelmed because the first few books were like, awesome, great, what's going on here, and then the last few books were just like, we're tired, we have other projects, so we're just going to kind of crap this one out and go from there. At least that's how I felt.
All right, okay, that's a good shout. Okay. Care to
Now,
expand?
I will say with Heroes in Crisis #9, the artwork was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seeing all the different characters, it was so well put together. So the writing is what I felt was lacking, but the artwork was spot on.
Okay, cool. All right, so what was lacking about the writing, do you think?
Just, I think the way that they were trying to wrap everything up.
Mm.
You know, you're thinking Wally West is going to break Wally West's neck, and then all of a sudden, crash landing. Here comes everybody. I know, spoiler alert. Um, and everybody appears, and we're just like, wait, that's it, really?
Yeah.
Although I will admit, Harley losing her shit on Wally West was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just to see all the other, you know, superheroes and their thoughts kind of with the end of Sanctuary. I mean, that was nice too, but the wrap up I felt was kind of just sloppy.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I totally agree. I think when Clayman's been on this book, the art's been fantastic. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people complaining about the Batgirl hero pose that's on the splash there.
Yeah.
You know, with her hands on her hips and she's holding the pose.
I love that panel. Thank you.
Me too. What I was going to say was that if superheroes pulling superhero poses isn't your thing, stop buying superhero books.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that. Clayman's art has been fantastic all the way through. I agree with you wholeheartedly. The writing here is it's kind of gone it's kind of lost its footing a little bit. And I think early doors, I remember saying on a different pod that we did, saying that I was worried about the pace of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to get to like the last issue and have to rush an ending. And spoiler alert, the idea of fast forwarding into the future to get a fast grow clone to take it back, so that's the body that can die. It's just one panel. So the whole mystery is solved by a one panel explanation. And I think if you've just invested 9 issues, is this a $3.99, $4.99 book? I think you want a little bit better for you want a bit more bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to talk about is this book was supposed to be about mental health. It was supposed to be about PTSD and how superheroes cope with that. That was the original tagline from DC. And yes, go check the DC Comics website. It's on there. Heroes #1. What happens when superheroes have PTSD? It's on that page. This isn't me making it up. It's on DC's literature. Here's my problem. Wally West has a PTSD moment. Let's just think he's been lost in the timeline, lost his family, had a heart attack, and then goes to Sanctuary, doesn't get the treatment he needs, and then has a moment. And in that moment, he does something heinous. Agreed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Cool. And at the end of it, we have Tom King saying, if you have a mental health breakdown, where you will end up is in jail. And that's it. Now, I'm really sorry if I'm being a bit over the top on this, but the Joker, who has murdered thousands of people, maimed a Batgirl, killed a Robin, he gets treatment in an asylum. Wally West ends up in jail. How is that promoting how to deal with PTSD?
No, I agree. Yes, he had a moment where he fell short, and yes, he'll have to answer for that. But I agree. You know, he sought out the treatment and didn't get it.
Or it didn't work, or whatever, because, you know, mental health isn't. It's not like a broken leg. It's not like, oh, I've got a broken leg. I'll put a plaster cast on. Hey, 6 weeks later, my leg's fixed.
Yeah.
There's mental health. You can't see the scars. You can't see the injuries. You can't put a plaster on it.
Yeah, it truly is a case by case thing.
And I just think we've been meandered around this story, and I find the conclusion. I find it not only unsatisfactory, but I find it tasteless, because there's going to be loads of people reading this book, some of which will be having a mental health issue, either the onset, the outset, or in the middle.
Yeah.
And they look to the comic. I would have liked to see. I would have liked to have seen some. You can't close it. It's not a closed deal. Mental health isn't a case of like, hey, look at me, I'm fixed. I would like to have seen some progression of the treatment. And we don't see that. It's like, I've done this, I'm in jail. Poof, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no support network. You see in the early issues, Barry Allen, and even in the Flash book when he was teamed up with Batman, you see him go nuts about Wally. And in this final book, where is he?
Yeah.
Well, where's Barry Allen holding him? And he tells him he's in Rebirth 1. He tells him, "How could I forget you?" Well, heads up, people, he's forgot him again, because he's not in this book.
Yeah.
He's just missing as Power Girl is in Superman Leviathan. What Power Girl on comic book she's not in? Simple as.
You're not salty about that at all.
Not at all. So that's kind of my take. The only thing about the art, Clayman's fantastic. I'm glad they put the names of who the characters are, because I didn't recognise Spoiler in a million years, and everyone knows I'm a huge Spoiler fan.
Yeah.
So other than that, the other thing is continuity. It's obviously Heroes in Crisis is in current continuity because it's been referenced in different books, whether it be Green Arrow, Flash, Batman, whatever. And yet in this book, you've got Nightwing, who's Nightwing, by the way, Dick Grayson, not Rick Grayson. You've got the Martian Manhunter, who's currently off in God knows where in Justice League. Jessica Cruz, who's off in the Ghost Sector. There's no sense to it. It's like the book's got some really nice little moments in it, but they hang on the barest of logic, and it just really kind of, I guess, deflates for me personally.
Yeah. I think the way I would have wanted to have seen it is, having, say, like Batman, Superman, all the, the entire Justice League.
Yeah.
Helping Wally, still holding him accountable, but telling him it's going to be okay. We're going to get you the treatment you need. We still have your back, but you're still responsible for your actions.
Yeah.
That would have been a better way to end it.
If you think back to issue 2, the three of them, Bats, Wonder Woman, Superman, turned up to console Harley, and Wonder Woman gave her a hug and all that sort of stuff. None of that here.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, because I agree. Mental health is not something, and I like the fact that you used, breaking a leg as the example. You can't just go in, do surgery, put metal on in mental health like you can, any sort of fracture. It truly is a case-by-case scenario. And there's, sensitive aspects to it because each person's different. Therefore, the triggers for PTSD are different.
Yeah, totally.
And I feel like the Justice League kind of shit on Wally West.
I think DC has since his rebirth, I've got to be honest. I don't think DC know what to do with the new age. They talked about the new age of heroes, but they've got this previous new age. They don't know what to do with Nightwing. They don't know what to do with Arsenal, Wally, Donna Troy. These like kind of second generation characters who've outgrown their sidekickness. You could argue they've been floundering for years.
Yeah. Do you think that DC may have gotten in over their head with opening the PTSD can?
I think Obviously,
To a
we're not
degree.
privy to we're not privy to the editorial meetings or anything. But this series was supposed to be a 6-issue run when it started off, and it had extra issues chucked in. I don't know if you're right and they got over their head and they had to then pad it out to make it more superhero-esque. I don't know if Tom King, who recognizes mental health as an issue because Mr. Miracle is brilliant, but he doesn't hit the same highs with this. I don't know if editorial got scared and said, you know what, Tom King's our superstar writer. We can't tell him that this isn't working, so we're just going to go with it. I don't know. But I think the idea is honourable. I just think the production of it has been less so. Apart from the art. The art's been great.
Oh yeah, no, the art was fantastic, and the writing had a strong start and just kind of a.
We ended off into its own little tailspin.
Yeah, yeah. It was still a great read if you're looking at it from the grand scheme of things, because there have been other storylines that were like, yep, nope, nope. So for this one to keep us this interested throughout the entire series, I do applaud DC for that.
Yeah. I think it's as I say, a valiant effort, an honourable effort, but I just wish they'd done better. I personally wonder if this is the book that got Tom King kicked off Batman. Not issue 9, except Hero Crisis in its own, in the whole idea, because his plot pace is diabolical. It's like, this is 9 issues. It's been every month, right?
Yeah.
Over this time, Batman has been stuck in a nightmare, and he's had these different things going on in his own book, but he's not actually progressed from issue 50. And what are we on, 72, something like that? That's
something like 20, that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 22 issues. So that's practically a year. Batman has not progressed in over a year from where he was, because the pace of the plot is just so methodical. It's like beaten. It's a good idea. What happens if Batman's trapped in his own nightmare, stuck in Arkham? That's great. We don't have to have 6 issues of that.
Yeah.
Unless he's, we don't have to have 6 sort of separate. Unless he's talking about the steps of grief and loss. Well, even then, it doesn't particularly fit the criteria. But I don't know. I think this is probably the thing that turned me out and said, you know what? We need to move on with Batman. We can't give you the 100 issues to wrap up what you want to do. Yeah. We need to move on. People are getting bored, especially with the news that DC next year are going to back to a full monthly series with no double ships in a month.
Yeah.
So we go. Right. Okay. Whew. Heroes done. There'll probably be fallouts. It's worth saying that Clayman, as we said before, his art's been fantastic. He's going to be joining Tom King in the new Batman Catwoman 12-issue book that's out next year. So we'll see what that looks like. At least we know that Catwoman's going to look gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
And you never know. You may get Selena Kyle with fishnets. It's possible.
Wit woo. Clayman, at Johnny Hughes 70 for Twitter. You drop me a line. I'll give you some suggestions. Thank you very much, James. Meow. All right, okay. Moving on from Heroes, we're going on to the other major event book that has been, what's the word, ticking along. The jokes are killing me. All right, okay. It's fine. Doomsday Clock number 10. Originally scheduled to ship, I don't know, probably 3 years ago. I'm joking. It was probably a couple of months. But here we are. 2 issues to go. Jeff Johns gives us a Dr. Manhattan-centric issue that kind of explains shed loads. I hope you paid attention because there's a lot going on in this book.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Josh, take it away, my friend. What did you think?
I never truly understood your annoyance about 9 panel pages until I read this book. I just,
In my
I
defense, I don't mind 9 panel pages. I just don't like them used in every single comic book I've seen for the last year.
well, yeah, and this one was just, there was a lot to process. That's yeah, there is a lot. This is not one of those books that you can just sit down and skim through. Um, you're going to have like a dedicated, solid 30 minutes to be able to read, understand, and to enjoy. Um, I did like the art decision of, switching between color and black and gray.
Hmm.
I did find that from an artistic. I liked that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm tired of Doomsday Clock. For as long as it's been going on, I'm tired. The time has run out for me on it.
Really? Well, we're in June now. We've got 2 issues to go. Um, I think November is the 2 year mark for the series. So you've got to think that the next one's August, so it should fit September. So it should, if the next 2 books arrive on schedule, it should finish on 23 months to tell a 12-issue story.
Here's my prediction. You ready for this?
Is it going to be late?
Absolutely. I bet the final issue will be released on January 1st, 2020, New Year's Day. That happens to be on a Wednesday, New Comic Book Day.
But it's also a bank holiday everywhere, so comic book shops won't be open that day.
Let's wait and see. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Oh God, the time jokes. Oh, good Lord.
For those that don't understand my English colloquialism, a bank holiday is very much like a public holiday where everybody shuts down. I guess like Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Same sort of
so
thing.
I'll translate into U.S. terms. So with New Year's Day, yes, banks, post office are closed being a federal holiday. However, I see comic book shops still being open. They may open later in the day because obviously they will have been up late, the night before for New Year's Eve. But it's possible to see your local comic book shops open that day, at least in the States. In the UK, okay. I don't know.
In the UK, everyone's shut apart from the pubs.
Oh, well.
So you can buy beer, you can't just buy anything else. Go figure. As if you hadn't had enough the night before. Right. But no, it's a good shout. It's a good shout, New Year's Day for the Doomsday Clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, good shout. What did you think about the actual art itself? I mean, the colour scheme changes is great. What about Gary Frank artwork? I think we've been critical in the past of ironically saying...
I like the minimal attempt at trying to show that Dr. Manhattan is not, or that he is naked while not blatantly make it like Batman Damned obvious.
Yeah. That's a fair point, yeah.
So, from the artwork standpoint, it was well done. If that was part of the reason why it took so long to get the book to release, then I'm okay with it. They're really taking the approach of, everything taking place in the 80s, and the art style is following that. So it's a mixture of comic book art in 2019 and 1985.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you're absolutely right. The art is gorgeous. Ironically, I don't understand why it takes so long to do this book. I'm not an artist by any shape, way, or form, as you can tell by some doodles that I've posted in the past. But it is a good-looking book. I love the Howard Chicane style femme fatale cover over the Justice Society one, mainly because he goes and sticks Dr. Manhattan on the table, which really annoyed me. But so the idea in the book is that our DC universe, the one that we know and love so much, isn't a part of the multiverse. It's the metaverse by which the multiverse has then been created. How changes occur, it explains the different crises, whether it be Crisis on Infinite Earth, Zero Hour, Rebirth, and shows how Manhattan's kind of been manipulating things to see that what happens if Superman landed in the 1930s, what happened if he landed in the 1980s, which is where the Superman Man of Steel storyline kicked in, what happened in, and so on and so forth. So to enjoy this issue, you've got to know your DC history. You've got to know it. If you don't know your history, you're going to have to contact us on the show and we'll go through some stuff with you, or do some research, because this book has got a shed load going on. It even goes fast forward to the Legion of Superheroes. So it'll be interesting to see if anything of any import happens with those two, i.e. the book's coming back. What I found interesting, I don't know if you picked up on it, when he was doing the superhero origins?
Yeah.
Didn't do Batman. I mean, the J. Garrick Flash is there, the Alan Scott Green Lantern's there, Superman's there, obviously. No point to the talk about the little boy whose parents got killed.
Well, if I recall, Batman was never really part of the original Justice League.
Maybe I think he was an honorary member of the Justice Society, same as Superman, because they didn't want, because their two books were selling really well and didn't want them sort of like, believe it or not, they didn't want them to be oversaturated. Who would have thought that was an idea back then? I tell you what, we've got this really good character. Let's not have him in 13 different books. If only we'd listed that now.
Well, and I like the fact that they're even utilizing some of the potential continuity issues that we've had over the course of the decades of years that we have comic books, and using Dr. Manhattan as the reason for those continuity issues. That's a lot better than Marvel cloning everything.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. So it's kind of the story's kind of been built into there. The whole continuity issue is built in there. Convergence, therefore, was an actual thing, not just a shelf filler. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because Convergence did feel like a shelf filler in lots of different ways. The one thing that I will say, I gave this book to Brad Anderson, and he does, as you've mentioned, Josh, he does a great job mixing up the colours in the black and white. Doesn't want to give any credit to the letterer. And now I've done some research on this, and I've looked on DC Comics' own website, and the letterer is not mentioned. Now, I don't know if anyone feels what they feel about letterers, but I think over the last year or so, we've tried our best to make sure that letterers get the sort of
the
recognition
credit they deserve.
Yeah. I mean, Clayton Cowles, for example, who's been doing Heroes, he gets mentioned every time. And with people like Taylor Esposito, they get their say because they do great work. I just think it's a little bit. I don't want to say shitty because it's a family show, but it's a bit shitty that people aren't getting recognised for the hard work. God damn it!
Yeah.
So get it sorted, DC. Tell me who's doing the letters. Sort it out.
Well, because and we've been very critical on the network as far as if the lettering is shit. I mean, we call it out.
Yeah.
that is just as important as the artwork and the writing. In
Definitely.
fact, it's up there, I would say, on equal level with the writing. Because the artwork could be absolute shit, the writing could be fantastic, and the lettering could be fantastic, and it'd be a great book. Because the lettering is what we are reading to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's a valid point. It is a huge point.
So unless DC is going to be creating a book that has no dialogue and let us put it together, which I would still love to see at some point, because when we talked about Ace, if Ace or Crypto had their own storyline, there you go.
Well, funny you should say that. Historians, go to your back issue bins. There is a Batman book, Batman issue 433. Shouldn't be any more than a couple of dollars. It's written by John Byrne, and it's got art by the fantastic Jim Aparo. And in the whole book, there is just 2 words. There you go.
Wait.
4-3. There you go. In the whole comic book, only 2 words.
And that's not the Many Deaths of the Batman, is it?
It is. It is. Well done. Many Deaths of Batman. Many Deaths of Batman Part 1.
I remember that book. I need to get that one. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at me. That could have been a Jeopardy question, and I would have got a half a point because I had to get it.
Did you have a chance to listen to the Jeopardy I pulled on the No Prize podcast?
No, I still need to go back through and listen to that.
Oh, it's class. I love me a good Jeopardy. All right, okay.
I think, so here's what we need to do.
Okay.
Since Freyja is off talking Marvel with 13, and Tracy's off getting tattooed, next episode that both the ladies are on with us.
Jeopardy.
Yes. I would rather do that and see them squirm that way than make Freyja read American Carnage, as much fun as that would be.
I will arrange that.
2 weeks, people. 2 weeks.
The return of DC Jeopardy. All right, okay, so that's Doomsday done and done. So the next big book that kind of shipped between our last pods was, in fact, Scott Snyder's new Black Label book, Batman Last Night on Earth, Chapter 1, or Book 1. Written by Scott Snyder. Art is by the fantastic Greg Capullo. Inks by Jonathan Galpian. Colors by FCO Placencia. And letters by Tom Napolitano. Not the ice cream flavor. So for this, I think Snyder is pretty much at his setup best. So we've got Batman as Batman, and then there's like this twist. He finds a zombie-esque boy in Crime Alley, wakes up in an asylum, and it appears that young Bruce killed his parents, and everything he knows as Batman is a big fat lie. Da, da, da. Yes, it's that episode of Batman the Animated Series. I'm kidding. There are similarities, but that's where it stops. The thing I find interesting in this is it's set within current continuity, and there's nods within the dialogue that harks back to pre-Rebirth. A touch of Future's End is also thrown in there. Here's something for you to think of. The spoiler halfway through the book is that Alfred is wearing like a projection. Way back when, in issue 1 of Batman in the New 52, as Bat comes into the Batcave, he mentions something about the Alfred program is running within parameters. And people kicked off a fuss about it at the time. Just saying. Is there a link? The art is gorgeous. Greg Capullo really pulls out. I love how Wonder Woman's look has changed. which is surprising because I didn't really like how there's a couple of panels that she looked great in Dark Metals, but it didn't seem great. I expected more from Capullo, who's got some really fine lines. Wonder Woman here with the Mohican absolutely rocks. The Joker in the cage thing, I'm not gonna lie, I've said it before. I could do without more Joker, to be fair. It's like the Joker being the conscience of Batman has been done to death. It was done in the last Batman game. What was that? Arkham Knight? Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
So, an interesting setup. And I've said this before, Scott Snyder, who we've interviewed on the OTP and TDC special. Great guy. Clearly puts a lot of effort into his work, as every creator does. But he is, for me, a really good setup guy. You know, he's the guy, he's like, this, what do you call it in baseball? Not the closer. What's the one that comes up before the closer?
Oh, your relief pitcher.
Yeah, he's the guy that comes in and like sets up the closer to bring it in. I think I've said that about his runs previously. I'm going to be honest. Things Tipex on those panels. There must be loads of it, but I don't know. Alternative Batman seems to be really popular at the minute. What with Damned, you've got this, you've got the White Knight stuff going on. It's good to see that there's like alternative takes going on.
Yeah.
Josh, what did you think?
I loved this book. We've always said, how great would it be to have a story where Bruce is the one going insane and the entire Batverse is just his illusions. And here we have it. I love what they've done with coming up with the concept of how Bruce comes up with the Batman costume.
Very good call.
I thought that was very well done. And in fact, I am now even more excited to see what cosplayers do now that we have that all put together.
I can't believe it. We've got Straight Jacket Batman and Fat Thor. Cosplayers have never looked so good.
I like the reference to the penny and the dinosaur.
Yeah,
I mean, that it was so well done. Just the writing is on point. The art is on point. I'm thoroughly excited to see this book and its progression. I just hope that they don't pull a Heroes in Crisis and let me down.
Well, have you ever been let down by Snyder before?
Not yet. So that's where my my hope and faith is coming into this. Is Snyder is the only writer. It's not going to be other people joining in. This is his book.
Mm-hmm. So, were you happy with his Metals run?
To be honest, I didn't read a whole lot of the Metals run.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, cool.
The
I
whole
wish I hadn't.
Yeah. The whole Joker head in the lamp. It's a fun twist, if you will. Because I've played Arkham Knight, and having Joker in Batman's head and randomly showing up in weird places and all of that. I think this is a fun, unique twist of having Joker involved while not being involved.
Yeah. At least for the time being. You
Yeah.
don't know what's happening down the line.
Yeah.
So there's that to think about. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's the big three books that are still on your shelves. Go out and get them. I'm sure there'll be loads of people who have their views on Heroes, Doomsday, as well as Batman Last Night. As for new books, we've had a look through the itinerary, shall we say. and Josh has been his random self, and for some godforsaken reason, picked Shazam 6. So, Shazam 6 is written by Jeff Johns, art by Marco Santucci, Dale Eaglesham, and Scott Collins, colours by Mike Atiyah, and letters by Rob Lee. Josh, what made you pick this book?
You know, the concept of Billy Batson's father returning and how does that impact the Shazam family? It's one of those stories that we knew eventually would come about if it hadn't already, because of the movie and the success of the movie, that's kind of sparked more of an interest into Shazam. Now, because I know what the hell's going on. But this is just a fun read all around. It's got action. The artwork was spot on. They did a great job. Like Dale, you said Eaglesham? Yeah.
Eaglesham, yeah.
And Scott Collins. You guys did a great job on this. I'm just going to be very blunt.
All right, okay.
The other thing that I like about it, and again, yes, DC is building off of the fact that, you know, Shazam did really well in the theaters. If you've never read Shazam or didn't know about Shazam prior to the movie, this is going to give you a great taste of the Shazam universe. You know, as far as the 7 magic lands, you know, being exposed to Black Adam, and all of that. So I think this is a good book to build a foundation for what's to come in the future. And to see the impact of Billy's dad returning and how that'll impact his new family, if you will. Mm-hmm. Just that story in itself is one that I'm surprised it wasn't done sooner.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay, so for me, I will put my hands up and I will admit that I am one of the few people who hasn't seen the movie. And to be honest, I am not really planning on seeing it. It's not really my vibe. Sorry, people can hate me for that. I'm okay with that, each to their own. Story-wise, the Marvel family are stuck in a Scooby-Doo type haunted funhouse kind of reality thing, which, if that doesn't sound confusing enough, sometimes the layout of the art, whilst the characters themselves are on point for the most part, I found the panels a little bit confusing. Mm-hmm. And you know what you were saying about how letterers can make the book earlier? I think this is a good example of there being too many words for a more visual medium. Don't get me wrong, I like wordy comic books, but when you've got chaos and words, it just gave me a headache. The thing I noticed the most about the art is that I know they've aged Mary a little bit. She's now in her teens now rather than being 9. Mm-hmm. So, but that last panel where she Shazams and she's in the pose, it's practically Zenoscope in its pose. When you throw that, you look back in the earlier pages of the book where she's flying with Billy, it's kind of very much like as you expect. Mm-hmm. Now she's towards the end of the book, she's turned into some sort of sexy siren harlot thing, and I get it. It's been done before. I love Justice Society, or JSA book number 23, where she's been turned evil by Black Adam and she's wearing the black dress and the yellow lightning bolt on. I like that look as much as the next guy, but let's not forget that in the end she's still supposedly pre-16, right?
I think they're bringing the continuity as far as the movie is concerned, because again, prior to the movie coming out, not a lot of people will have read Shazam. I think the most exposure to Shazam that I had was the Injustice game, Gods Among Us, before Superman zaps his brain out.
Oh no, I'm a Shazam aware-a-thon. He's been in Justice Society for ages. He was in Young Justice. He was the cartoon show. Justice League cartoon. He was in a couple of episodes.
Yeah,
really well done in the Justice League episode, by the way.
he was in Batman and Superman Public Enemies.
Yeah, there you go. So you kind of, he's been around. He's been on the fringe, I guess, of that mainstream element. I think you're right. The film's done him some wonders. For me, I'm just not feeling it, I guess. I'm not really a huge, as much as I'm aware of him, I'm not a huge fan. So my view is somewhat tainted, to say the least. And that's no fault on anyone who's kind of put the work and effort into this book. It's just not for me. It's fine. Not everything's about me, which is a shame because it should be. Oh, how egotistical do I sound?
Oh, you know.
Hey, it's my money. I want to buy a goddamn good book. Thanks, cheers.
You know, I can't hold that against you, because there have been some books, you know, like The Man Who Laughs, that I've been all for, and you're like, nah. And then there's other books that you're all for, and I'm like, dude, this is shit.
Harsh. True, but harsh.
So, you know, I think that's the thing I love about comic books, is the fact that at the end of the day, we still appreciate them for what they are.
Yeah. And it's all joking aside, it is good to see DC creating a range of books for as many different audience types as they possibly can. And it seems that model is also following their movies. Mm-hmm. So you've got like stuff like Suicide Squad, then you've got the Joker movie coming out, you've got, you know, different vibes of movies coming out. It's not the same sort of Marvel template that you expect from Avengers, for example. Yeah. So listen, not every book's going to be aimed at me, and I'm okay with that, because there's more than me just buying comic books. And if this gets people into comic book shops, if people are picking up Shazam and then buying something else on top of that, well, that's only good for the comic book industry. So well done, DC, for sticking to your guns and making sure that there are different books out there for different audiences.
I mean, even books like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
That was surprisingly a great read.
Yeah, Batman Turtles. You know, so there's whole different things going on. You know, the Catwoman Under the Moon book that came out a couple of weeks back, aimed at that sort of young adult. I read that. It's not aimed at me in any shape, way, or form. I gave it 5 stars on Comic Crusaders, because it's for the type of genre book it is. It does it really, really well. You know? Yeah. So again, it's going to get people interested in the comic books. So I think DC's model's kind of working. It's good to see. I think, you know, a couple of months back they were saying that Dan Didio had said they're going to have to cut down the number of books by X amount of percentage. You may find that move towards monthly books as opposed to double dipping will probably give you that percentage. I don't know. I for one wouldn't mind if they up the page count and charge me a little bit more.
Yeah,
I don't mind paying $4 a month for a comic book, or $5 a month for a comic book if it's got more pages. I want more than 22 pages.
Yeah,
and that would get by the fact that you're still having the writers and the artists still contributing a similar amount of pages per month, so they're not losing any money from an industry point of view. Mm-hmm. So, but hey ho, we've digressed a little bit.
Well, you know, when it's just the two of us.
Yeah, cool. Are there any books coming up that you're kind of interested in? Looking forward to?
I started dabbling in Batman and the Ninja Turtles. I haven't had a chance to go through that one in depth like I want.
Have you watched the cartoon?
I started, and then I got distracted with other stuff that I've got going on. So I haven't had a chance to finish it. So
yeah, I'm exactly the same. But I started watching it, and I'm kind of like, all right, it's not quite my usual Batman thing. It's all right. I'm going with it.
Yeah.
And then I got easily distracted from that point. I was like, okay.
Because I know Warner Brothers is associated with both franchises. I've been following a lot of the stuff with Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, okay,
and
cool.
their updated or their recent announcement with the DLC, having Shang Tsung in the game, and having the actor that played Shang Tsung in the movie be the voice of Shang Tsung, and they modeled his likeness after the actor. So I thought that was really cool, and to have his little final scene, him saying "Your soul is mine." I was excited about that, and then obviously Spawn going to be in the game.
Did I see something that has Batman as a DLC?
So Ed Boon on Twitter has his banner photo having the Mortal Kombat logo in the middle, Scorpion on the left with Batman on the right. Do I think Batman will be in Mortal Kombat 11? I doubt it, just because of the fact that, well, one, Batman, quote unquote, doesn't kill. So how are we going to get a gruesome fatality for this game with a character that doesn't kill? They did really well in, for Injustice. NetherRealm Studios is the one that did that. I don't think Batman will make it into this. Now, Joker, I see them putting Joker in Mortal Kombat 11, and if they do, they sure as hell better make that fatality gruesome, because I remember Joker in Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe wasn't that spectacular. He got a little bit better in the Injustice games, but it's still, given the level of gore that we expect out of Mortal Kombat, if they do in fact put Joker in, there's going to be some high expectations.
Okay. I would say that, in the Injustice games, especially, I think, in fact, both Injustice and Injustice 2, at least mobile-wise, there are a range of Sub-Zeros in them. Ravens in them.
Yeah.
Scorpions in them.
Yeah, Scorpion was in the first one, in Injustice Gods Among Us. Sub-Zero made his appearance in 2. And again, because NetherRealm Studios does both games, I can see a DC hero or a DC hero or villain in Mortal Kombat 11. Do I think it'll be Batman? Probably not. Lobo would be fun.
Yeah.
Just because he's okay killing. But, hey-ho.
Hey-ho. Hey-ho. We'll see. All right, so that's it for another episode of the Definitive Crusade. Thanks to Josh for spending the time hanging out.
Always.
I'm glad. We'll be back in a fortnight with a full crew. We will be doing a Jeopardy. The clock is ticking. Just saying. Don't forget to check out the rest of the UCPN for the nominated Flipside Focus, as well as No Prize Podcast and Outside the Panels for all your interviews with comic book creators. This is Machine Hughes saying adios.
Peace.
Bye.